Hello, welcome to BioGreat TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. How political parties started in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe became a colony of Great Britain in the late 1890s, and it was called Southern Rhodesia at the time. Though it became a white minority-ruled self-governing colony in October 1923, it was still under supervision from London. The external affairs and legislation of the colony was subject to approval from London. In the 1960s, while colonial rule was folding up throughout the African continent, with African majority government assuming control in neighboring northern Rhodesia, that is Zambia, and in Nyasa land, that is Malawi, the white minority Rhodesian government under the leadership of Ian Smith on the 11th of November 1965 made a unilateral declaration of independence (UDI) from the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, though viewed the declaration an act of rebellion, did not take any steps to regain control by force. In 1970, the white minority government went on to declare itself a republic. This was followed by a civil war with African nationalist groups who opposed the white minority rule. The two main groups were Zimbabwe African People's Union (ZAPU) and Zimbabwe African National Union (ZANU). From its founding in 1961 to 1980, the Zimbabwe African People's Union (ZAPU) campaigned for majority rule in Rhodesia, both as a militant organization and as a political party. The party was formed by Joshua Nkomo on the 17th of December 1961, just 10 days after the Rhodesian government banned the National Democratic Party (NDP), which he also founded earlier that year. Joshua Nkomo was the party president, while Tichafa Samuel Parirenyatwa was vice president. Robert Mugabe was information and publicity secretary at the time. The armed wing of the party was known as Zimbabwe People's Revolutionary Army (ZIPRA). In 1980, ZAPU, which had been renamed the Patriotic Front by then, contested elections in Zimbabwe but lost to its rival ZANU. The party later merged with ZANU in 1987 to become ZANU-PF. The Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front (ZANU-PF), founded in 1963, is Zimbabwe's ruling party and has retained that status since independence in 1980. For many years, Robert Mugabe led the party until 2017, when he was deposed as party leader. When Mugabe served as prime minister, the party was simply ZANU. Then in 1987, the party merged with the Zimbabwe African People's Union (ZAPU) and became ZANU-PF. The Patriotic Front (PF) was formed as an alliance between ZAPU and ZANU during the war against white minority rule in Rhodesia, now called Zimbabwe. The PF included the Joshua Nkomo-led ZAPU, which had the backing of the Soviet Union and operated mainly from Zambia, and the Mugabe-led ZANU, backed by the Chinese while operating from Mozambique. The singular objective of the Patriotic Front was to overthrow the Ian Smith-led predominantly white minority government through political pressure and military force. They achieved their goal in 1980 following the Lancaster House Agreement of December 1979. During the 1980 general election campaign, ZANU Patriotic Front, that is ZANU-PF, and Patriotic Front ZAPU, that is PF-ZAPU, contested separately. Mugabe of ZANU-PF won. In 1987, ZAPU was officially absorbed into ZANU, and it became a single party, ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF continued to dominate Zimbabwe's politics for several years without a formidable opposition. But that began to change from 1999 with the advent of the Morgan Tsvangirai-led Movement for Democratic Change. In the 2008 parliamentary elections, ZANU-PF for the first time since independence lost its majority in parliament. It got 94 seats out of the expanded 210 seats. Also, in the presidential election that same year, Morgan Tsvangirai, the MDC candidate, received the most votes but without an absolute majority, leading to a runoff. The opposition claimed it had the majority vote, but the result had been manipulated by agents of the ruling ZANU-PF. He insisted that free and fair elections couldn't be conducted under the prevailing conditions, so he refused to contest in the runoff. The elections went ahead on the 27th of June with Mugabe as the only candidate. Of course, he won. To broker peace between ZANU-PF and MDC, former President of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, facilitated a power sharing between ZANU-PF and the Movement for Democratic Change. The Movement for Democratic Change, MDC, was formed as an opposition party to the ruling Zimbabwe African National Union Patriotic Front, ZANU-PF. It was formed by Morgan Tsvangirai in 1999. Individuals from a broad coalition of civil society groups came together to become members of the party. Following the Senate elections in 2005, the party split into two, with the main faction headed by the founder and leader, Morgan Tsvangirai, while the other faction was led by Arthur Mutambara. In the parliamentary elections of 2008, the two factions subsequently won a combined majority. On the 15th of November 2017, long-serving president and party leader Robert Mugabe was placed under house arrest by the country's national army in a coup d'etat. 4 days later, the ZANU-PF removed Mugabe as leader of the party and appointed Emmerson Mnangagwa in his place. Mugabe himself tendered his resignation as Zimbabwe's president on the 21st of November, 2 days before impeachment proceedings against him were to be completed. Presidential elections were held on the 30th of July 2018, and Emmerson Mnangagwa of ZANU-PF defeated Nelson Chamisa of the MDC alliance to become president. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.